welcome back to our podcast. It's me and Lisa again, coming at you with another discussion. Today, as promised, we're going to talk to you guys about aliens, the phenomenon, the interest behind it, the history, some theories people have, and we do have a special guest, and he is my brother. His name is Alex. Say hi.
Hi, Alex.
So he is what I would like to call very knowledgeable about this subject. We both have our interests. I feel like mine is more in the paranormal spirit realm. His is more in the alien realm. Can you tell us a little bit about how you got interested in this type of phenomenon?
Sure. So ever since I was a young boy growing up, it fascinated me, just the thought of distant worlds and other civilizations. And given if they did exist, which I believe that they do exist, then it would just have me to think as far as, wow, how would they look? How would these intelligent beings react? How do they live their lives? Or how do these landscapes function? That sort of thing. So I would just read science fiction novels and books growing up. And, of course, one of my favorite genres is sci-fi. So that's pretty much how I grown interest, pretty much was drawn to it from there.
Nice. There's a lot of theories behind the alien realm, the alien phenomenon, things like that. A lot of people, when they hear about aliens, think about Area 51. Now, me and you and Lisa all know that there is more than just Area 51 out there. I was looking at a individual, Neil deGrasse Tyson, I believe his name is, and he said that aliens have been trying to contact us for a while now, and that we as humans are just not advanced enough to understand their type of communication to Earth. How do you feel about that? What do you think about that?
So my take on it is this. Right now, whether people believe it or not, they have made contact. And if this were made more aware in the media channels that we watch on TV and so forth, of course, there would be people just in mass hysteria, afraid, of course, of one world government, knowing that there's other civilizations out there for higher evolution. And given that there's been talk, and we might have heard of different groups out there on this planet that are kept secret, of course, hence secret societies and so forth, that are privy to this knowledge more so than the average person. And I must say, I've had the privilege of speaking with someone who came from one of these secret societies. Basically, this gentleman was part of a group that's at the pinnacle right now, and he made it to the highest levels. And I've got most of my information from this gentleman. And I am part of another group, basically, that benefits society versus groups out there that feed off society, which unfortunately are the majority. But given that, a lot of these alien species have made contact from what I was told and the knowledge that I was given, only to certain government groups such as, and I've mentioned this before, the United Nations being one of them. And a lot of people seem to think, well, wow, I wonder how these aliens or other beings look like, or are they green? Do they have two heads and so forth? Do they have antennas sticking out of their heads? the fascinating thing about it is that they look similar to us. And there's 3 known species right now that I'm aware of. Palladians being one of them. They're in a distant galaxy, and they've been monitoring our activity. There's a lot of, how would I put it? There's a lot of cloaking in the sky, and basically there's things go on where, of course, they make themselves not known, but it happens. I have lots of information and reference materials, and I'll be happy to share this too, of NASA footage taken of, for instance, a meteor shooting straight to the Earth's atmosphere and then turning around. No one could explain how a meteor would just go straight to planet Earth and then make a U-turn backwards. So it's situations or scenarios like that make us wonder. But going back, yes, only certain groups, higher elitists, if you will, have been in communication already with beings. They're just at a higher evolution, and I could explain more. I can go on and on, but I'll let you ask me another question if you have.
Alex, now going back to the person who is in the secret society, did he tell you not to elaborate on some things? Like you can't tell anybody anything of what he shared?
Well, I can share what he shared, as there's a radio segment that was taken years ago. Again, I can share that with you as well, and you can listen. And I won't mention who it is right now without reassuring that it's okay. However, I don't think it's something that could be held or kept secret, because he didn't make it so that people know about it. It's been broadcasted for people to hear. You just have to find that information, and I have the recording available.
Maybe we can link that below so people can go ahead and find the link and listen to that podcast if they need to. That would be awesome if you can share that with us.
That's very, very, very interesting.
Going back to what you said about the 3 kind of alien species, can you elaborate? I know you can't say much about their intelligence or their communication, but can you elaborate on their physical being? You said one looks like us. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. So from what I understand, the Palladians are the one species that look just like us, if anything. Their pupils, if you will, could be shaped into a triangular type of physical way of how it looks versus ours. And they have certain characteristics where they don't have to consume as much food as we do. These beings, like I said, they've been tracking us, and from what I understand and from what I know, and there's information out there from scientists, again, I've got that, saying that there's evidence that the human DNA was modified. Now, these higher evolution or evolutionary beings have been amongst us about 230,000 years ago. And I do want to point out, just to make the audience look into it further or have them think more on it, if there's some non-believers out there, there is biblical text, that one in particular that pretty much opened my eyes, from Genesis 1:26. It says, "Then God said, let us make human beings in our image, be like us." People generally think of God as one entity. Makes you wonder, who is our image to be like us? So there's hints there too, in regards to the gene or the DNA being modified. for human creation.
Yeah, it's very interesting, Alex, like in the Bible, what you're sharing, they also talk about the fallen angels and that they also, I guess they mated with the human beings.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a possibility those fallen angels could be aliens?
There's a strong possibility that there's a lot of symbolic references in biblical text going from not only the Bible, the Vedas itself, and a lot of people like to talk about the pyramids. Well, there's lots of references, and I spoke on this a little bit, of humans with bird-like features. And some of these beings did have bird-like features. This particular species, which I can't think of the name of right now, but with the creation of the pyramids, it is said that these pyramids were used as portals, if you will, for the teaching of them, teach us as humans, as humans, or what to pretty much do with the rest of our lives. So that's fascinating. It's interesting too, how that came about.
That is very interesting. So what would you tell someone that would come up to you and ask you about just the basic knowledge of an alien that they see on TV, such as the kind of alien that's on my shirt? What would you tell them about that kind of alien and what they're doing on Earth if they come to Earth?
So, say for instance, so there's three that I know of. There's the Palladians, the Arcturians, and some call as reptilian, if you will. But the one, for instance, the Arcturians was the ones with the big eyes. And let me backtrack a little bit. We as humans have a unique way of living on this planet where we have free will, whereas these other species, they live in a way that free will is not as prominent as we have it here. Whereas they've ascended more, they're higher evolved, but we've got to give free will, to say that. So with the Arcturians, for example, they have a unique way of wanting to physically, I'd say, get in touch with us or want to know more about us. And it's strange because they can make their way into, I guess, someone's face, if you will. And what happens generally, and I don't want to make anybody afraid of this, but
I'm shaking my head because it's
so
terrifying.
what takes place is,
Stuff.
they would feel and touch on the human in certain aspects. And I could say, for instance, that I may have felt that too at one point. But you're in a state where you don't know or are aware of what's going on. You just have flashes of what might be happening. So, and as far as the other species of reptilian, there's information I've got, references to that. There's thousands, if not probably a million years ago, that there was some cataclysmic wars of how one species didn't want the other species to create another evolved being like us. So basically they found a planet like Earth and said, you know what, we're going to go ahead and modify the genes and create the humans. We're going to monitor them for how many years, teach them these basic ways of how to live. And that's how it all came about. And as far as Earth, there's also information out there NASA has, believe it or not, there's evidence that, there's been Earth-sized planets discovered as well. So that's just another reference.
Wow.
We have like former counterintelligence agents, physicists, scientists, military personnel, just like you were saying, NASA, with this credibility, and they're coming out and letting us know that we're not alone. They're now saying it's a fact. Okay, Luis Elizondo, not sure if you've heard of him, but he was a former intelligence agent, and he names UFOs. Well, they in the Pentagon they now name them as UAP, for unidentified aerial phenomena, and he went down a list where they would fit. It would just fit a criteria, and the 5 observables that fit the criteria for a UAP would be instantaneous acceleration, hypersonic velocity, low observability, transmedium travel, that's the ability to operate in multiple environments or domains, and anti-gravity, ability to fly with no wings, no cockpit, etc. So yeah, he was Luis Elizondo. He was a former counterintelligence agent. He ran the Pentagon's secretive program from 2010 to 2017. He investigated UFOs, and he believes these UFOs are not from any earthly nation state. Alex, do you think that these aliens are living here on Earth? Are they visiting, or both? What do you think?
I think it's both, actually. There's lots of references where well-known named people would go into certain caverns. Now, why they would go into these remote places, of course, they won't tell us. But I strongly believe that they're amongst us and in living and visiting. And a lot of what you've mentioned as far as these aircraft and technologies, if you will, of course, most of us heard that the stealth fighter was built after some alien technology and whatnot, so they took after that. And I've got some information in relation to back in the 1970s, where a gentleman who was abducted goes back and was able to come back to Earth and tell us the entire story, and he even outlines the craft itself, how there is no type of engine per se or thrust feature as we use here. It basically, it uses space matter to pretty much teleport and transport to wherever destination that is, it deems fit. So that's my take on it, actually.
There is some theory out there that I just read about not too long ago, that some UFOs or UAPs are not made of materials or things that are built with, or metal, or things that you would think that they would be made out of. Some people think that UAPs or UFOs are actually a being in itself, that the aliens are flying in. What do you think about that theory?
It's a strong possibility. I don't have much insight into the type of materials that are used. All I can say that it would definitely have to be some sort of lightweight material, if anything, but heavy. So I'm sure that they would use some sort of metal or what have you that, of course, probably don't have here on Earth. Although it is interesting to note that the gentleman that I was talking to earlier, who was doing the interview, the segment, is that one of the main reasons of why these beings had come to visit was, of course, a precious metal. You would think, you hear this on sci-fi, being gold, for one. But it's interesting to note that that was one of their interests as far as capturing from this planet. And I could send the link too. There is a gentleman who's alive right now that walks the planet, and I don't know if you've heard of him, Bashar. He's well known for those who look at his information. He released some books, but he has this innate capability to channel an extraterrestrial, where this extraterrestrial just talks through him, and he just basically translate what the extraterrestrial is saying. So you have a number of people asking him these questions, and it's very interesting, all the answers that he gives. So that would be something that I could share too.
That'd be cool to see. We'd love to see that link if you have it.
You know what I found interesting too when I was doing research? There's a man named Bob Lazar. He worked in S4 near Area 51. And he said that one day he was escorted down to a room, and he said there was a reactor that created gravity, gravitational fields. He said that's something that we cannot do. And he said it was the size of a basketball. And when he tried to touch it, it was like two magnets you try to place together and they will not touch. So I found that really interesting. There's just so many credible people that are coming out and coming out with this new stuff. I mean, we know it's been going on since like the 1940s. We weren't sure what it was. We thought that it might be the government behind it because there's a lot of things that they did secretive. I mean, even with their own aircrafts, they kept secret from us. So there was distrust with the government. And they believe because of when the US bombed Japan with that nuclear blast, that's when they started to see UFOs right after that. So maybe we grabbed their attention from that nuclear blast. Do you think that's a possibility?
Probably, and it's just interesting that you bring that up because back in, I'd say, I don't know, very early on, 1930s, 1940s, there was a project, it was called the Bell Project, actually, and these group of scientists, quantum physicists, were working on this, and it was discovered from this Bell Project on how to pretty much be taken in time travel, per se, and that's hard to believe for some people, but as soon as it was discovered, I guess they didn't want it released so much so, and it was so early on that time travel being discovered that these scientists, one by one, were killed, never seen from them again, and it's just odd that it didn't ever progress. We might still have it, who knows, but it was just kept secret ever since.
Time travel, that's another subject that we can probably go on and on about.
Yeah, we're like time traveling, kind of. We're on the Earth, it's moving, and then
Right.
time's passing. They're just on a different level.
Exactly.
So, for those that are interested, there's something that I've been following called Gaia, G-A-I, I believe it is Gaia. I could send the actual link if I misspelled it. But it goes in depth of how these other beings look. There's certain ones that are very tall. They live in these atmospheric conditions that are very different from ours. There's talks about how humans, we have the benefit and the blessing to live either on land, water, cold, hot. For some of these species, they don't have that privilege. It makes you wonder. So yes, there's so much out there, and I even have reference material books that point out how alien beings were discovered from a crash. There's been letters written, and they wanted to keep the secret, suppress it, if you will, from the public when they actually discovered these bodies that came upon us. They've been studying since then. So it's always been fascinating to me. It still is, and I'm excited to learn what else that there is to learn.
Well,
Yeah, and
we'll be looking forward to those links and everything that you're going to send us. I'm sure the audience that we have will be so interested to see some more information on what we're talking about here today.
Absolutely, for sure. It'll be my pleasure.
There's a dark side, of course, to all of this. Some believe that John F. Kennedy was killed because of UFOs or aliens. They said that he wanted to cooperate with Russia and share some information. And another group, some people call them the shadow government, they got involved and they said that's not going to happen. So they believe that's one of the reasons why Kennedy was unfortunately assassinated.
It could very well be. I wouldn't discredit that at all. So I'm glad you brought. It'll make me want to research and look into it further myself.
Yeah, and some people are scared to death that they're gonna, destroy us, kill us, and do horrible things to us.
Yeah, and a lot of that has to do, I think, with Hollywood, mainstream media, and how they depict a lot of these stories and whatnot. If you look closely, there is movies out there, and Hollywood's been genius, where they do reveal certain truths, but you got to pay attention closely. If anything, like I was saying before, this one group, Palladians, they're pretty much monitoring us, if anything. And they have been in communication. And we've been in communication back and forth. You don't hear it, of course, there will be mass hysteria, like I said before, one world government, so forth. So if anything, they're looking, we have a guide, if you will. We have beings out there that are looking after us, looking out for us, protecting us. Versus having any beast one destroy or take over our world or anything like that. So
yeah, I think some people are just looking out of human eyes because that's what we do. That's what we've done, and we can look back at history, with the pillaging and even till this day, just killing each other. So I think that's why they're looking through their eyes, and and it seems like if there aren't. A lot of people believe it. I know there's a lot of, evidence and so on. But if these unique, intelligent aliens do exist, I feel that they do have an organized system. I mean, we could look around the solar system, even on our Earth. So many species have some kind of organized system, so they can survive. Just and and that's how we build things. So I feel like they have maybe an organized system. They have rules. Maybe they don't want to destroy us. We're hoping maybe they have a higher emotional intelligence as well. They're not like some of us human beings that are really cruel.
right.
But I did watch a video, Alex and Maggie, I watched a video where this one aircraft that was caught by the military, it was hovering over the water, and they were like, whoa, they were so amazed by it. And then all of a sudden it was gone, and they found out it went, I don't know, it was like a crazy speed. It beat them to where they were actually supposed to go. So
Wow.
I'm thinking too, maybe they're show-offs. They got some egos going on.
Yeah.
Maybe they just want to show how much more intelligent they are than we
Right.
are.
Yeah.
They're like, I beat you with our faster craft.
Right. You got nothing on us.
Right, exactly.
There was interference with military weapon platforms. I'm not sure if you guys looked into that, but that's deep.
Myself, it is.
So what would you say, Alex? What would you say to those people out there that don't believe in aliens? They're thinking that there's hoaxes, that because even scientists have came out and said that it's not possible. They haven't visited us. They're not here. What would you say to those people?
I would say to those people to keep an open mind, be receptive. Don't be quick to say that is not true or discredit it without gathering further data first to discern from before saying that it's not real. I would just look at everything that's being said before right away making a decision based off of what you think versus basically just saying, okay, well, I don't want to believe in that. I'm just going to say no to it. I would just say just keep an open mind and just hear it out and go by your intuition of what's being said, and then you can just decipher from there.
You have to send us those links that you have so we can post them.
Absolutely. There's one in particular I want to find about how the gentleman back in the 1960s or 70s did get abducted, and he was able to come back and tell the story of where he was taken, and then There's some references and references in there of time travel as well. And the gentleman I was talking about, Bashar, he goes real and deep, who channels this extraterrestrial where he talks, and you'll see the videos of what I'm talking about. But yeah, I'll gather what I could, and then I'll share it for sure.
Okay.
And then another point I was going to say too, which you probably heard, you don't know what you don't know. You know what I mean? Basically, you don't know what you don't know. So that's another point to maybe think about when you want to say, oh no, that's not true. Just keep an open mind, and then from there you'll feel it inside whether it's the truth or not. Because there's plenty of information out there. It's there for people to grab. You gotta find it, look for it, and ask for it, or they'll come. The answers will come to you.
For sure.
Yeah, you know, I also wonder if there are some aliens out there that are trying to assist us in some ways. You know, like I remember like about a decade ago, I was driving to a job site, and I remember this one guy was speaking on the radio, and he said that I'm not sure how the alien communicated to him. It was a long time ago. I don't remember that part, but he did say that the alien told him the reason why there's so many earthquakes is because we're taking all the oil out of the ground. We're taking out the fluid. And I'm wondering if that, you know, if that's a true story or not, but it is interesting. It does intrigue me.
Right.
That is interesting.
That is very true.
So they're talking about releasing more information as far as alien life forms, communications, and the truth about UFOs or UAPs. What do you think about that? Do you think that they're going to share a lot, or if it's just going to be the same kind of information and bits of things that we have now? Do you think they're going to elaborate a little bit more about what they know, and they, as far as the government is concerned?
So I'm glad you brought that up too. So these higher beings wanted to share with us a long time ago what they have and these higher technologies. However, man, or humans, if you were, just so egotistical and wanting to capture this information or this technology and use it in ways that are not beneficial to society. So my strong feeling or gather from it is that they'll share more with us when we're ready. So it's just that humans have this innate wanting to be, I can't think of the word right now, but they just want to be just greedy, if you will, or use it in such a way where it's not beneficial. So they'll share a lot more when we're ready. And
Do you think that
sure.
do you think that the government or whoever has this information regarding life forms and other galaxies or wherever their life forms are, do you think if they have this information that they'll ever share what they have with us now? Or do you think that they're keeping it because of, like you said earlier, mass hysteria will endue?
I think they'll have to figure out a way on how to slowly share it with the masses if they decide to, because you will have groups of people that will just be in total chaos, and then there will be mass hysteria. So that's calm. I don't think we'll be able to get as much as what we are, that some people would want to know. So
I think that the subject on aliens and UFOs and things like that are, a lot of information is out there. Like you said, you can go and research all these things that you have, all the books that are out there, like different videos and information and articles and podcasts and things like that. They're out there. But I think it takes an open mind from the human species to actually go and look for it and you were saying earlier, to actually do the research and fill their mind with this information, and not kind of just get closed off and not think that this stuff is out there. I think a lot of people, they don't know that all this information is out there, and it's just not something that they think about. So I think us putting a lot of this information out there, like a lot of the links that you're going to give us, and a lot of the podcasts and the research that you did, and putting it out into our viewers, the people that want to know about this phenomenon, and the people that want to know about the paranormal kind of stuff like this, I think it'll I don't know, make us a little bit more knowledgeable and a little bit more smarter on what's actually out there, instead of having that closed mind that people have.
Exactly. Yeah. For sure. Absolutely.
Lise, were you always interested in the alien phenomenon, or were you kind of just, I don't know, you knew that this this kind of stuff was out there, and you did some research, but not really? Because that's pretty much how I was, until we started digging deeper. What do you think about the whole thing, Lise?
Well, like like your dad, Maggie. My dad, he loved to watch unexplained, phenomena in our world, and it ranged from paranormal to aliens to other. But aliens it did come up. I did hear about it since I was a child,
Yep.
and it didn't really freak me out for some reason. I don't know if I really don't know why, but it really didn't freak me out too much. And I thought, okay, if I get abducted, I do get abducted, whatever happens, or if I ever encounter one. But now I'm starting to think, what if some shadows that people see are actually aliens? And it makes you think and wonder.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up, because one of the things that had me so fascinated from a young age was my father looking at these documentaries of aliens and whatnot, along with paranormal activity and ghosts and everything else. I wasn't too much of a fan, or I'm still not much of a fan of the whole paranormal activity and ghosts. However, aliens always stuck with me and just fascinated me, and just always had my interest at heart. And I think he played a role in that too, growing up.
Yeah, 100%. But I got the ghost part, you got the alien part.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, is there anything else you want to add to our audience, special guest Alex?
I think it was pretty much that's it. Other than it was a pleasure being here, sharing what I have to share, and the knowledge that I've gathered over the years, and just put it out there for the people in this segment. But if there's ever another interview, I'd be more than happy to join.
Oh, you know what?
So
I have one last question. Alex, do you think that some aliens can totally take over someone's body? Because some people believe that, and they've taken over even some celebrities. I don't know if you guys heard about Dave Chappelle. He was gone for a while, and people are like, he's somebody else, and there was that going on, that he was someone took over his body, or they made a clone. But do you think that aliens can actually take over someone's body? Just like, we have, there's people out there that may not even know they have parasites in their body that are controlling them. Can aliens work in the same manner, possibly?
So I know that channeling does happen on an esoteric level. Now, as far as what you said, like something physically going inside of you and taking over your body, that I'm not too sure of. But with one of the links that I'm going to share, the gentleman actually channels this extraterrestrial being, and when he's in a certain state, you could see his whole energy change, his voice change, his vibration change, and he's speaking straight from this being that's channeling through his human body. And that right there explains a lot, and it'll probably give you some insight on how that works.
That sounds scary.
Yeah, like some people say, you could look in the mirror, you think it's you, but it's
Yeah.
not you. And
Oh
what
yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah. The videos that I've watched and seen, and there's a couple other beings or humans that channel that are alive to this day actually, and they just take on a whole different form. Not physically, but you see by their expression, how they talk, you'll notice.
Yikes.
We all have that potential to take on another form. Just those that are selected, I would take, are more receptive and open to it. Like me personally, if I were to ever be taken up, I'd be like, yeah, I want to see what's out there. I love it. So,
I bet.
yeah.
Oh, Alex, I lied. I have one more question.
Sure.
How is the weather in Florida?
I
Oh.
know.
So let's just say I was walking outside with a t-shirt, you know, it was upwards of, I'd say mid-70s, almost 80 degrees, sunshine, looking at a palm tree. And you should
We're
come and
doing the
visit.
wrong maps. No.
I know. We're doing it all.
Yeah, it's here. I mean, whenever you want to come visit, you're more than welcome.
Yeah, we need to go out there because we need to do some paranormal hunting.
Yeah,
Oh.
we do. There's a lot of places that he knows about that he won't go, but we can go.
There might be aliens, Alex. You might want to go with us.
Okay, I was going to mention, there's a lot of places where you can stargaze, you know. I've seen, they had a meteor shower the other day. I was able to see one shooting star. It was in the middle of the night, like 3 a.m. or whatever. So, but in that sense, there is a lot of hauntings and places to visit, like St. Augustine, the oldest city in America. They've got a lot of ghost tours over there too. So that'll be something to check out.
Nice.
Cool. Let's do it.
All right. Thank you so much, Alex, for coming on.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. I appreciate it.
To us about this phenomenon that me and Lisa aren't very familiar with, but we definitely believe and we do know that aliens exist. So thank you so much for all that information. Like I said, guys, we'll have all those links that he shared on the bottom if you want to check those links out. Thank you again so much for giving us a like and a follow. Please, if you have not, please hit that subscribe button. We are always here, and we're going to be talking about other unexplained events and other phenomenon. So thank you guys again. Lisa, you got anything else?
Yeah, stay tuned, guys. We got some more good stuff coming up. Maggie Hilario, he wants to meet us at the Demon House. And you know what? I talked to him the other day.
Did you?
Yes, he said that when he went there, nothing happened. He went with his wife, but when he got to Hobby Lobby, he said that he felt so lightheaded and like something hit him in the head.
What?
Yeah.
Well, maybe we'll meet him there then next time.
Yeah, he has a lot of stories. Like one of his friends were walking by there and he was thrown to a building. He said that an officer he knows said that there's suds coming up from the ground, like soap. You know, that you would see in a wash machine. So yeah, he said, be prepared, come protected. And he wants to go sometime, you know, soon, this week or something.
What is this Demon House all about? Or
we got to send you links.
Yeah.
Okay. We got to send you links, Alex. There was a family that made it to the newspaper because crazy things were going on in the house. And then professional credentials witnessed it, like case manager, a former chief police. So do you know Zach Bagans from Ghost Adventures?
I don't know.
Yeah, well, he's a paranormal investigator. He went to Gary, Indiana. He bought the house, did an investigation there. Then he tore it down, but things are still going on in that area. That was just a little summary.
Okay, all right, interesting. Yeah, I'd like to check it out some more.
But the cool part is like all the professional credentials, even like a doctor and a nurse, they seen the family that was being how do you say, like
terrorized.
Terrorized. What the son the son of the family got supposedly possessed, and they said that he walked up the wall in the hospital, and the nurse and the doctor, they had to leave. They're like, oh no, we don't do that.
That is all get out. Let me just tell you that.
Well, and there's
Yeah.
a documentary that, what is it called, Mags? The Demon House?
It's called the Demon House, and it's in Gary, so we can go like 20 minutes and go visit this empty lot now that it is. It was so bad and so haunted by demons that the investigator that bought the house to investigate the house knocked it down so no one else will get terrorized by these demons. So it's an empty lot, but people still visit the place and have stories that, you know, these forces are hitting them or pushing them, and like Lisa said, there's suds coming out of the dirt, so we might go visit it. You know, we'll put some rosaries on and carry Bibles in our pockets. We'll see.
I don't believe, you don't believe in that, Alex, or you just don't care for it?
I don't care for it per se.
It's all aliens.
I mean, it's fine, you know, sure. I believe that they're out there and whatnot. I just don't delve much into it a lot, as far as those and stuff. So
You might get into it, you know, if we go to Florida, we go to a place, you might get into it.
maybe. Yeah, we'll have to check it out. You know, we decide to come.
He'll be our third member, Mags. There'll be 3 of us.
That'd be so cool.
And then we can go to try to get into Area 51. No?
Yeah.
Nice. We have to compromise.